guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to watch The Crazies from 2010. Here we go. An apocalyptic scene shows us an abandoned burning town, and then we go back to 2 days before this picture. We are in Ogden Marsh Township, where the baseball team is playing a local game, and the whole town is there. Sheriff David Dutton and his deputy Russell then see Rory, a well-known neighbor, coming into the baseball field carrying a shotgun. He is bleeding from his nose and is not responding or reacting to the sheriff's warnings. He attempts to dissuade Rory, but he's going to shoot, and the sheriff stops him. And then we see that they are being spied on from satellites. We also see planes in the distance crossing the sky. At the funeral home, David talks to Rory's wife to find out if he was drunk, but the widow tells him that her husband had been clean for years. David feels bad about what happened, and Judy, his wife, tries to comfort him. At the sheriff's department, David gets a call from the medical examiner reporting that Rory had no alcohol in his blood, leaving David even more perplexed. He goes back to the baseball field lost in thought when he sees this guy who looks thoughtful. But as he gets closer, he notices he has a blank stare. Judy, who is a doctor, notices the same symptom in this guy named Bill, including lifeless and repetitive speech. She tells Bill's wife that he needs a CT scan and leaves. But that night, Bill's wife and son run away from him, who chases them with a knife. They hide in the closet, but Bill locks them in, douses the house with gasoline, and sets it on fire.
Damn!
Alerted, the sheriff and Judy go to the scene where they find Bill spaced out and whistling. The next day, hunters find a dead pilot in the swamp and alert the sheriff's department, where Bill is now in a cell and acting almost zombie-like. Since it's a pilot, they search by boat for traces of an airplane in the swamp, which they eventually find. Once again, a satellite image shows coordinates, this time along with a message that reads Initiate Containment Protocol. David suspects that something fallen from that plane is contaminating the water. With that instant deduction, David urges Mayor Hobbs to shut off the town's drinking water supply. Hobbs refuses to authorize it, but David does so anyway. They return to the sheriff's department, where they find Bill on the ground and bleeding, but he suddenly gets up in a psychotic state and tries to attack them. No phone and no internet. The streets are empty. He sees a woman acting strangely and a suspicious vehicle fleeing. The sound of breaking glass leads him to the funeral home, where he finds a priest dying with his eyes and mouth sewn shut. David takes a pair of scissors and cuts the threads in his mouth.
Behind you.
The medical examiner attacks David by surprise. He tries to kill him with an electric saw, but David pulls the cord, causing the doctor to self-harm and die. At night, Judy notices someone outside the house, and David goes out to investigate, but he's surprised by a group of soldiers who put him on a school bus with other people. They're all taken to a quarantine camp set up at the local high school, where residents with high temperatures are separated from the rest. Due to her pregnancy, Judy has a high temperature and is separated from David. He's taken with a group of non-infected, while Judy is strapped to a stretcher and placed with possible sick people. A truck breaks through the fences, and they're repelled by soldiers, but the perimeter falls and many escape. Outnumbered, the soldiers flee. David escapes and returns to his office, but he can't find anything to arm himself with. He takes the only gun on his desk, and Russell just appears and tells him that the quarantine site fell, escaping him and others. They return for Judy, who is now immobilized in an abandoned place along with other people, and are found by this infected man with a pitchfork who begins to kill them one by one. When it is this girl's turn, Judy screams to get his attention and save her. Luckily, this foolish decision has no consequences thanks to the sheriff's bullets just in time. They leave there and cross a ruined city with some infected and uninfected people wandering around the streets like this group of infected hunters hunting people. If the virus turns them into psycho killers, shouldn't they kill each other too? How does this work exactly? Whatever. They stay hidden until the hunters leave. The four of them walk until they reach this girl's boyfriend's property. David hears something and tells them to hide in the barn. Soldiers appear, sweeping the area. They take the boy's mother out of the house to check her temperature, but the boy desperately runs to her aid, causing the soldiers to shoot him. As she tries to run away, she's also shot, and their bodies are burned. A soldier investigates the barn, but they subdue him and learn that the military has been ordered to shoot all civilians. After talking, they convince the soldier not to rat them out and then let him go. Thanks to the soldier, they now know that this disease is airborne. The group heads to the sheriff's house, but they are not alone. Rory's family ties Judy to a chair and attacks David, who manages to kill this woman while Russell kills the boy. Inside, Russell sees one of the bodies move, and
Making sure.
thanks to this, Judy suspects that Russell is sick and tells David, who turns a deaf ear because he saved their lives earlier. They leave by car. Suddenly, a helicopter flies overhead. They hide in a car wash, which is activated moments later. So, infected people appear around them, and Russell, unhinged, starts shooting. The car won't start, and they soon find themselves surrounded. Finally, the car starts, but a loose hose comes through the glass, trapping the girl, who is left hanging from it. They stop and go to rescue, but it is too late. And the helicopter launches a missile that destroys the car.
It's your lucky day.
While walking down the road, the group spots a black Crazies being, which Russell disables with a police spike strip. The driver, a government employee, reveals that the cargo plane contained a biological weapon called Trixie. It was en route to Texas to be destroyed when the plane crashed. Enraged, Russell shoots the driver. Russell leaves his rifle to investigate the vehicle, but David takes it since they no longer trust him due to his erratic behavior. But Russell threatens them with a gun and forces them to walk in front of him, but David tries to talk to him and manages to disarm him. Here they talk. Russell bleeds from the nose and finally realizes that he is sick. Russell begs to continue with them. The group arrive at a military roadblock where Russell, thinking he's a dead man, offers himself as a distraction so they can cross that point without being seen by the soldiers. Judy and David sneak past and arrive at a truck stop to search for a vehicle, discovering that the military has also executed those who were evacuated. David gets some supplies while she waits there because nothing says good idea more than splitting up in a situation like this. She drinks water without noticing, once again, that someone is watching her. David learns via radio communications that the military plans to destroy the town. The power goes out. Alone and with a knife, Judy flees from the infected and hides. There are bodies everywhere. David finds Judy and they both get into a truck, but are intercepted by the hunters. Judy kills one and David kills the other. Then they drive away while listening via radio the launch countdown. Finally, a massive explosion destroys Ogden Marsh and disables their truck, forcing them to continue on foot. For a moment, they look at what the explosion left behind and walk away across the fields towards another town. A view from military satellite highlights the couple, and then the city, where we can read Initiate Containment Protocol. Between the final credits, a semi-breaking up broadcast of a Cedar Rapids newscaster reports on the explosion in Ogden Marsh, stating a perimeter has been set and civilians are not being allowed into the area. Then, an infected's face unintentionally appears before the signal is lost. And this was The Crazies, a remake of George Romero's film that, for better or worse, doesn't resemble the original at all. By the way, he's involved in this movie. So, I'm giving this movie 3 stars. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and...
Goodbye, friends. Goodbye.